Hey, I'm Kaleb Driggers, and this is my Equinety Barn Check. Growing up, like right there in a little old mile radius there of my house, all my cousins, I probably had 5 or 6 of them that roped, and so there was 3 practice arenas, and that's kind of just what we done as family pastime was get together and rope. So yeah, from a young age, I knew that team roping was my passion. And I never really knew until I was about 16 or 17 years old that, that I wanted to make a career out of it. And then when I turned 18, Brad asked me if I would like to go pro rodeoing. And rolling into my rookie year, it was all a learning curve for me. Brad and I won San Antonio early, so that gave me a little bit of confidence. And I stayed in the, in the top of the standings rolling into summer. And then once summer came around, I started falling. Ended up missing the finals that year, I think by like $1,200. And that really lit a fire under me, and it made me want to try harder and be better because I knew how close I was to, obtaining my goal, which was making the finals. I knew that I wasn't ready. I knew there was parts of my game that wasn't ready. So, just trying to get the puzzle pieces together. And then in May of 2010, I had the opportunity, Tano Tahara financed me a horse that was a really, really good horse. And then come back in 2011 and made the NFR for the first time. I roped with Jade Corkill in 2012, and we led the season for most of the year, and then it was like less than $1,000. I lost the world title that year, and Jade won the world, and so just kind of was a building block from there, and I roped with several different guys throughout the end, from 13 and 14, and then 16 is when me and Junior started. And we didn't start rodeoing that year until end of May. And from the end of May to the end of September, we won like 125, 135,000. Go into the NFR #1, that was a huge stepping stool for us. And then we rocked and rolled there for several years, and we just kept being reserve world champions. And that was a hurdle that we really wanted to get over. I think that the industry is moving in a way that we are going to see a lot more futurity horses that will start transitioning into rodeo. So that was the reason behind the show barn, and kind of wanted to have our own place and just make our own mark a little bit, I guess. Here we are, guys, at the show barn. This is where a lot of the more prominent horses that I own and are partnered with own. Several of my best show horses and rodeo horses and my stallions stay in this barn just because of the climate here in Texas. And we have fly system put in. We have the LEDs with the light system in to keep them slick and looking good. This is a 2020 mare. She is a One Fabulous Time out of a Fury of the Wind mare. She was the reserve 4-year-old champion up there. This mare has the great mentality and footwork to be an awesome head horse one day, and our goals with her is to prove her at the futurities, show that she has the ability to do that, and then move her on into jackpot and rodeo, and eventually we'll sell embryos out of her, and we're excited for her future and what it holds. This is the queen of the barn here. Her name's Fine Vintage Cash. We call her Crystal. She's an 8-year-old mare. She is the all-time leading futurity earning mare. Our goal with her is to me jackpot on her for a couple of years and then hopefully move her into rodeoing with some of the guys. Last year, I think we got 5 embryos out of her and 3 metallic paydays and 2 rays of pep, and we're looking forward to selling some more embryos out of her and seeing what her future holds. This is Colt 45. He is very, very honest. As fast as rodeos have gotten now, you have to have something that really wants to pull and face strong. Seems like the team roping just keeps getting faster and faster, and the horses seem like they have to just keep elevating with us. And I feel like that's one reason why Equinety is such an essential part of my program, is when we're out there on the road all year, and I feel like it helps them with their focus and their gut health. Not to mention that in between my injections have been going longer. I had the horse that I won the world on in 21 and 22. We was having to inject him every 3 to 4 months, and then once he got on Equinety, we went 15 months. And this is the man of the house. 2017 Metallic Cat out of another Playgirl. This is Metallic Payday. He has earnings of just over $100,000 from the fraternities, and Coda Kirchenschlager won 4th on him at the BFI this year. A few of the things that we've noticed since we started Payday on Equinety is we bred him to 85 mares last year, and they have to jump that dummy 3 to 4 times a week, and you know that's rough on their hocks and stifles, and we don't have to inject him quite as much as what we was having to before, and keeps his coat healthy and shiny. And not to mention, probably the most beneficial part to me is the motilities went up probably by 5% on this horse, and you know, with the freezing and shipping the semen, that becomes huge, just because everybody that believes in him, I want them to be able to get their colt. I bought this place in 2015. I wanted a little bit bigger place. I have a lot of turnouts just so that my horses live in stalls and stuff throughout the year so much when we're on the road, and I just like for them to be able to get out, stretch their legs, and be a horse. This is probably one of the most instrumental parts of my day. When we're riding 12, 13 head of horses a day, this gets them loosened up, gets the edge knocked off of them so that when I get on them, they're ready for business. This is the original barn that was here. I don't use it as much during the winter on the show horses. It serves its purpose more when people are coming in through the rodeos during the winter, and a spot for them to lay over and stay. This area here is where I park my rigs. I have probably 6 plug-ins here along the arena just for when people come in during the winter. I tried to make a big turnaround area here so that, you know, when bigger rigs pull in, they have plenty of room to get turned around. And now let's check out my other turnouts. These were built probably 7, 8 years ago. These are 40 by 80 pins. All have shed rows in them. That way I can, like I said, I like to keep them separate, but I like to give them plenty of room to get out and walk, and they're not quite as fresh when you get on them the next day that way as well. This is kind of the breeding part of the place. It was probably halfway through my career when I started the fraternities, and I really got invested into that and wanting to have better horses, and kind of at that point was when I decided that once I retired that would be something that I would be very interested in doing. And I actually got to purchase this piece of property, and then I set it up a little bit so for resale one day if I ever need to, so it has its own entry through the center. This is my mare and colt barn. It's 12 stalls, automatic waters. Mainly the reason behind this is just so that when we get them back from OE, we can keep our hands on them for a couple days before we turn them out, just to make sure that everything's going smooth with the colt, and then get all their DNA and stuff so that we can get them registered through AQHA. We have 13 weanlings this year. This is our biggest crop so far. Have a little bit of different cross on everything from rope horse mares to race horse mares, and also some cutting mares. And one thing that I tried to do when I was crossing them was try to find proven mares that had already, in their discipline, had already won money. And as you can tell, they're pretty friendly colts, and I'm excited to see where all these babies lead us. This is my yearlings. We have already brought them up, halter broke them, started them on the walker. We just kicked them back out to let them rejuvenate a little bit and be a horse. And there's a little bit of everything right here. This one is crossed on a racehorse mare, Dash to Fame, Brookstone Bay, so he's a little leggier. And then this one's out of a rope horse mare that won $600,000, jackpotting. I'm excited to see what the future holds for these guys. No matter what discipline they move into, I feel like they can excel. And I guess since I already put my straw hat on, we better get to roping. So in 2020, COVID year, watching the finals on TV that year was, you know, a big learning tool for me, because I learned more, you know, from watching it that year than I ever had. And got Cuervo in 2021, and he was a really big turning point for us. He was just the magic horse, I guess, because he always wanted to score. He always running towards the steer, and he never got too quick for me. He was just that rock solid horse. He was the reason what led me to Equinety, because when we went to the finals in 2021, we got out there and he was just a little bit off. And I'm like, man, this can't be it. This can't be it, you know, because just leading into it, everything was just going perfectly for us. And then putting back on the Equinety, and in a couple days he was right back to the same old Cuervo, and it just kind of fell our way. Finally got over the hurdle and won the world, and then in 2022 was a fairy tale season. We set the single season earnings record that year, and then went on through the NFR and had just an average NFR, but we had an $80,000 lead going in and ended up getting to go back to back. You know, no matter how much we train and breed and everything else for these futurity horses to be the best that they can be, I think that it's just experience. I think that the futurities are an awesome way for us to be able to go and season these horses and put them under competition, but with no time restraint, or little to no time restraint. With the futurities, they're allowing me to put them in those situations and seeing how they react, and then I can bring them along and along and know what I need to work on at home, so that then it just speeds up the process. I've always enjoyed buying horses and trying to make them a little bit better, and then finding the proper home for them. You know, that's always been a favorite pastime of mine, and also gives me really good horses to practice on as well, whereas a lot of people have practice horses, well, they're not the same. You know, they're making runs, but they're not giving you the same footwork, and they're not doing, you know, certain things that our good horses are doing. And I feel like that's one thing that has allowed me throughout my career to have really good horses to rope on at home. I don't consider them practice horses because they're, you know, they're really good horses as well. I was feeding Equinety before I was ever in Dorsey, just because I seen what it did on Cuervo, and that horse meaning everything to me. And every horse that I have here, I keep on Equinety, and it's because, you know, no different than like we were speaking on the futurity horses, they don't have the experience to learn to know to live a little bit with the pain. So every time they have anything that's ailing them, they tell you. Fast recovery with the muscles, and, you know, their coats for the shows, and gut health and everything else is huge to me, because if they're not feeling their best, they're not going to work their best. I get to see all aspects of it. I get to see the motility of it from my stud, and I get to see keeping Cuervo sound for me to win a world title, and I see it working through my futurity horses and keeping them sound and alert. So I get to see all aspects of how great of a product it is. I don't just stack these on here just to get a paycheck. I believe in the product, and I got to see it firsthand. I love horses, and I love training them and making them better, and I really like to try and find the right home for them. It's not all about the money for me, and, you know, naturally I have to make a living, but at the same time I like to see them go and, you know, do really good with their new owners. My biggest advice is stay true to yourself. You know, whatever your dreams and your aspirations are, it doesn't matter if it's team roping, it could be crocheting. Whatever you're passionate about, just give it 110%, and don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough. And I feel like if you can find that passion and figure out a way to pay your bills, then you're getting ahead in life. From all of us here at Driggers Performance Horses, you've seen my barn, you've seen my place, and you've seen my horses. Now it's time to get this guy a nap.